If I'm gonna,
you know who donated it?
Clive.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I light this straight away, are we live yet? Thanks
Yeah,
for
we're
doing
live.
This is for Clive. Thank you for your donation, Clive. We're live. This is happy birthday. Sorry
birthday,
about the muck up. You know what we're like. We love being late and stupid.
There we go.
It's called fashionably late.
Yep.
That's Jack's style.
It was me. Despite me being the most literate computer professional, I've never done the stream thing before, so I cocked it up. Did it wrong.
I know. I didn't hear from you to say that you had any problems at all.
I didn't have any problems. It looked fine to me.
I mean, if I had another 10 minutes to not be late, I could have just used that link and just set up a separate Google Hangout and just streamed it from my PC. It wouldn't have been a problem.
This is what happens when Andy doesn't turn.
And now I've got 2 links.
I've got to light another I've got to light another sparkler for Ed Bruce Ratcliffe.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Sorry, Jack, for interrupting you. Now you're actually ready. Go.
Tone, how's your thumb, by the way?
That's my work. Quick.
Mended.
As good as it gets, you know.
It's all fixed. Miraculous bodies, aren't they? Look at that.
Skin graft, was it?
Oh man, Rob Britton as well. We hadn't even started the show yet. Jack hadn't even done his intro, and I'm lighting stuff all over the place.
Is there a reason why the firework responsibility has been moved to Tony? Because
Jack can't do it.
He seems much more scared of it,
and that's
Thanks,
why it's
Rob Britton.
Job.
Thank you. Right, start the show, Jack. After all that, thanks, guys. Jack's just muted now.
No, it's fine. No, I'm just trying to make sure everyone's emigrated over. I'm just trying to look after everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Drone Out, episode 180, guys.
Jeez, that's
we're getting dangerously close to the 200. Tonight
also, I'm gonna interrupt you just because you guys are at exactly 1,400 subscribers.
Yes,
congratulations. Sorry, Jack, carry on.
Thanks.
Tony's already started offering unsolicited giveaways if we get to 1,500.
When we get to 1,500, I'm going to give
Tony's giving away his own stuff.
I'm giving away stuff.
His house. Win Tony's house.
I don't know yet.
Right.
No, we're saying.
Shut
Have
up.
your windows cleaned for free.
And I will do the intro.
Right, sorry. Start again.
Not hard. Hello and welcome.
How long do you think we can interrupt Jack for? Can we get to the end of the show before he introduces us?
Not hard or even a semi.
Oh, he's gone. It's through a hissy fit.
Oh, it's through a hissy fit. Come on, Jack. Come on. We apologise.
Hello and welcome to Let's Drone Out. Tonight we are joined by Andy RC.
Hello, everybody.
Joined by our little monkey, My Little Tony.
Bonjour.
And Curry Kitten.
Hello.
I'm not going to have a go at you too much because you are a red hat. And one day I will rely on that skill a lot.
I did the exam years ago. It's probably all changed since then, so I don't think you'll be relying on me too much.
What's a red hat mean? I don't get it.
I thought it was like a red coat, like a Butlins kind of guy.
I think
weird keys in the bowl, and I'm Bright Until I Fly, also known as Jack. And we're really sorry about the mess up. I hope everyone's made it over. Thank you for tuning in. And I love our Patreon so much. Almost as much as I want to strangle Andy RC at times and Tony combined. And that is a lot of strangulation.
Wow, that's a lot of love going out there.
It's interesting that because Jack phoned me about 2 hours ago and told me how much he loved me, and I'm sensing some bipolar disorder going on there.
No, it's fine. You haven't got any biohazardous posts yet. So
yet.
Yeah.
Jack hasn't phoned me and told me he loved me for about probably 3 weeks now. Bit upset, to be honest.
3
Well,
weeks.
you've been out riding a mountain bike out in
You're
the woods
I
alone.
can still answer phones.
I think you're getting rid of hookers. Dead hookers. That's my thing.
There you go.
Well,
Jack's done
I'm
it.
distancing myself from you.
I think it's the one dead hooker, but it's just taken her piece by piece to
Is it
various
time to-
places around the woods.
Is it time to read out the disclaimer now that Jack
Yeah.
just said
Yeah.
that?
And on that note, no view. I don't know where the disclaimer is.
Well,
Do you
we
know
don't
what
have-
happened?
we don't have
my
any guests.
phone.
We have got no guests, so
Yes,
we
but
can
we've got to
just
disclaim
say it as it
ourselves.
is.
Yeah, no views of Let's Drone Out. We are idiots, and
I've got to light something.
please don't sue us.
Thanks, Green Patches.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, mate. There's your
please
sparkle up. And your
Please don't
shout out.
sue anyone. Views held by us or anyone else, regardless, Let's Drone Out, are not agreed upon, and we are idiots on the internet.
Yep.
Do not take us seriously.
We've been here 3 years doing this. 3 years.
It feels even more painful than I thought it would
feels like 10. It does.
Are you
feel like 10.
suggesting that you don't enjoy doing this? Because I really look forward to Thursdays. It's like my pub night. So I am very offended, Jack, if you are, if this is, you know, putting a strain on you.
No. It's just, it was. Just
We all love
the
it,
setup.
everybody. We love it. That's why we're here, and that's why there's no episodes ever.
I love it.
missed.
That 64 people.
Except
tune in
what
on a
177 mysteriously went down for legal reasons.
That's just YouTube cocking it up and breaking stuff.
Didn't also one Halloween episode have to be taken down because it wasn't that great.
How rude! That was just me and Jack on our own, wasn't it?
Yeah. God, me and you
Man, I've got
carried
to find
carried
some
the
stuff.
show because of like the dead, just how dead it is. They are only donating $2. That doesn't equal to £5.
Well, what shall I light one of these and blow it out halfway through?
yeah,
Just
try
like
that.
the match and sort of
Right,
wave it
let's
close to
see
it,
what
but not
happens.
light it.
Shenanigan FB feed. Thanks for your $2 donation. I'm going to try to put this out halfway through. But it doesn't work. I've put it in my beer. Ready?
Well, I rang
Yeah.
NJ Tech and he didn't
There you
answer.
go. There's heart. I'm going to drink that.
Everybody's asking for NJ.
I know.
There's your heart. There's your $2. I can relight that if it.
It won't. It
I
won't.
try.
If you can relight that, I'll be well impressed.
My beer's cloudy, and well, we need another $2, don't we? Oh, that smells
NJ.
horrible.
The weird thing was NJ was live on Twitch. He's live on Twitch. Hang on.
Well, it's better there,
Hang
isn't
on.
it?
Let's post his his Twitch link in the chat.
What not? And tell him to come in.
Well, yeah, just be
You
like,
get people like, come
No,
on.
I think all that you'll do there is get the viewers to go and watch NJ because that's what they're demanding.
"Oi, you are supposed to be on a pod."
Isn't it supposed? I got told off at school for saying supposed.
I know.
It's got a
I
D
know
on
it
it.
is.
Everyone's
Separate word.
dyslexic. Does it matter?
No, he is
We all
true.
get it.
Right. Well, while we're trying to entice NJ onto
So if you
podcast.
do want to abuse him on the chat, there you go.
72 people already watching. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Not really in the headspace for it, mate. No worries.
Okay.
Well, the episode has got crowdfunding in the title, so maybe that's why we have got so many people interested. So why is the title crowdfunding, and what do we know about it?
Well, after last week's episode, I was chatting to Frank about crowdfunding in general because we were talking a little bit about Microdrone 4, which is, we've had Vernon on before, which is going at the moment. And
Just watching his view shoot up.
brilliant. we've done a great job in boosting his Twitch.
I told you you'd do that.
Yeah.
Half of them are for NJ, and now you've
NJ's
just
far better
given.
looking than all of us combined. Of
No,
course,
you-
people are going to go over to
He's
him.
gone from like 1 to 16 in like seconds. Oh, it's really funny.
Well,
I'm sorry.
we support NJ and
Yeah.
his endeavors, and if that's what is making him happy tonight, then
Mikey Dread
I
says,
approve.
can we start with what crowdfunding actually is? What is crowdfunding, Curry Kitten?
It's a good point.
Crowdfunding is simply somebody comes up with an idea and says, I need this much money for this, and they will use a platform, typically Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and say, hey, look at this thing that I'm going to build. Sometimes, and I say sometimes, as far as drone goes, mostly coming up with simulated or one would call fake footage about this is what it's going to look like. Here's our aspirational view of the drone, which looks very enticing. And then people can pledge an amount of money for it to say, yes, we're going to support you building this thing. And when it gets to a certain amount, like if they've asked for 100,000, it gets 100,000, it's funded, and they're expected to deliver it.
Now this is the issue, isn't it? Because what you just said there was they may post 3D renders or maybe come up with video footage of what they envisage the product will be like, but because the product isn't funded and it's just an idea, that's where people can get kind of duped, quote unquote, in that it might not actually be the end result. You're taking a risk with crowdfunding's a risk, isn't it?
It is a massive risk. And what we talked about last week was, can we find anybody that's actually backed a drone and has got it and has said, this is really amazing, I'm so happy, it does everything and more? And the quick answer to that is no. After meticulous research, I could not find any crowdfunded drone thing that didn't have loads and loads of comments saying, this is crap, I didn't get everything I wanted, this is nothing like it worked out. Some of the little nuggets of greatness in terms of badness are that everybody, I think, has heard of the Xano drone. That got £2.3 million in with 12,000 backers in 2014. They showed an amazing video of this thing being able to track and fly. Of course, it wasn't that drone itself. They ended up shipping a very small proportion of drones, most of which just did a little bunny hop and died. The company went to voluntary liquidation, and at that time revealed they've not only burnt through that 2.3 million quid, but owed another £1 million in more funding that they'd borrowed. And as they started selling off their assets, they also sold the server that whenever you switched on your drone, it had to connect to the server and say, I'm ready to fly. And once that disappeared, nobody could fly anything.
Vernon's in chat. I would just like to warn you for legal reasons.
Vernon's
Hi, Vernon.
Vernon's in the chat, yeah, and you should mention, perhaps because we all met up and spoke to Vernon, that Vernon, I'm not sure whether bought out Xano or was.
He's certainly got the stock of Xano, and one thing that he's done is able to boot up at least without it talking to that server. Although
the server bricked
some way of
everything.
having it flying at the moment, the props will spin. I don't think. I mean, Vernon, feel free to respond, but I don't think you'll. I don't know if you're aiming in a position to get it flying, or you're just aiming to be able to at least deliver those to people.
Well,
if you'd like to defend yourself, please message in chat, and I will send you a link to join the show.
Yeah, I think from what I got, there's a website, and I think the actual answer is that it's not just Vernon; it's a group of hobbyists, from what Vernon said when we talked to him. And if they can get it to fly, then that's the idea. And they've created a website. I can't remember the website. So, I
think the idea was that it's going to be sort of produced as, here's a product, here's some source code in GitHub, and here's the SDK. You can all go off as a group, and you can try and make this thing fly, and you can take it from there. Obviously, though, it's not quite what the original people backed. And this becomes the problem when things go awry. And there's been loads of these. There's some big names. Some you may not have heard of. Some you probably did. On the Go was another one, like 3.5 million. Microdrone for itself got 3.6 million.
Lily was a big one that I
Lily
heard
wasn't crowdfunded exactly.
Oh,
though.
was it not?
Lily brought out this amazing video with faked footage and got 60,000 pre-orders. So they took money in from that point of view, but they didn't crowdfund it. So one of the problems with crowdfunding is, and this is the same on Indiegogo and what's the other one? I've forgotten its name already. Kickstarter. Is basically all those sites do is basically hook you up with a creator. They say, here's an interesting thing. If you'd like to donate money or pledge money to it, we'll handle that. We'll take a slice of the pie. They take like 5%, and there's some fees involved in transactions. At the point that it's funded and you hand over the money, they're done with you. They've washed their hands. Up until that point, you can reclaim your money and say, I don't want to fund this anymore, and get it back. After that, they say it's not down to us. You have to talk to the company themselves. And of course, if this company has gone into liquidation or has just spended all the money and says, well, sorry, we didn't manage to do it after all, you've pretty much got no comeback.
Why haven't LDO done this?
let's raise money through Kickstarter.
What crowdfund what? A electro-out trip.
Yeah.
Or something.
Kickstarter LDO trip. And
my biggest question.
We'll deliver though.
My biggest question about Kickstarter, because
we got another donation.
When I was looking at all this, I thought about what are the and Wayne, with you doing some digging, I mean, maybe you can or can't answer this, but I kind of thought, what are the tax implications of crowdfunding? Because technically, isn't it a gift? So is it when you talk about these huge numbers about, oh, they got $3 million, is that taxed on, or is it not because it's crowdfunding, it's technically classed as a gift?
Well, I don't think it does class as a gift, because people are pledging money to receive some goods, so it should be treated like a pre-order. Even if it was a gift, though, I believe there's some tax limitations on it. You can gift an amount, but as soon as it goes over an amount, it gets taxed anyway. But I think it's regular. This is an order, and it's they tax you on it directly, or it's like,
I guess the idea is
to that when you actually give them their product, if that ever happens.
I guess the idea as well is that if
sorry, there's a donation £5, $4.99 from EFF EKT FBV.
Give it a go. Try and say it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Good
mate.
We are technically being crowdfunded here, ironically.
No, we're not. For legal reasons, we're not. He is an idiot. Don't listen to him.
People are just randomly throwing money at us.
Frank's in charge.
Have I just said something controversial again without sex? Shall I just zip it?
Essentially, we're just busking.
I guess no. What I was trying to get at, though, is that
thank you.
Let's just say with these crowd-funded projects, right? If they hit their goal, then technically all of that money is to be spent on development. Therefore, from a tax purpose, there's no profit, right? So
no, not necessarily, because there's no profit. But when you say it's development, don't forget you're basically funding a startup company. So all that money's coming in is not just for manufacturing and stuff. It's like, okay, let's employ these people, let's pay these people, let's run ads for it, let's get some really classy videos made and stuff. And there's small proportions or smaller proportions that are then going into actual development and eventually manufacture. And it's just years and years down the line. There's been other ones have like raised millions, and well, what was it? There's one called Fly Eye that got it's a single rotor drone in this like enclosed thing, and the idea is it's super safe. And it got,
is that the boxy looking one? Yeah,
it's kind of round. It looks like a flying Amazon Echo, if you like.
I'm more Rumba.
Yeah,
Roomba.
no, because it was longer. It's like cylindrical.
No.
They got 300,000, and they sort of posted loads of positive updates saying this is going well, this is going really well, it's all going great. And then it's like, oh, we've run out of money now and we can't do anything with it. Sorry about that. And then the trouble is as well that these projects die off. People lose all that money because they can't get it back from a liquidated company. And then some other company will get hold of it, or it's like a shield company for the first company, and they announce it's coming back as something else. And there's like another whole round of people asking for money again and trying to, it's like they can repeat it on the same thing, the same piece of vaporware, and never deliver anything.
Not good.
Not good. So the question is, I was thinking, like, why would you ever crowdfund? And I'm guessing the people look at it, and aside from saying, wow, this is amazing, look at this, it does the most amazing things ever, is this like, okay, if you order early, you'll get this for half the price. But aside from the fact it never happens, my point of view is if something's actually manufactured and can be mass manufactured and is good and successful, then it won't just like you do the crowdfunding campaign, you'll ship it out to those people, and then you just close your company. Obviously, you're going to keep making them. You're going to put them in retail shops. As soon as you've got the economies of scale, the price will come down. So it's like, rather than backing something, you might as well wait until it looks like it's going to be successful. And if it's successful, you'll be able to buy it.
Yeah, but don't they use that money though in order to develop the product? If they haven't got that money, then how can it ever become a product, I guess?
Well, there is that, but there's other ways of raising capital. It's kind of, it depends how much, it's the fact people keep going into this thing and getting absolutely hammered on what's being delivered and what's going there it's just shocking. I mean, Vernon's talking about people are vetting people now and that you have to submit everything, but there's still an ongoing long list of things that are being promised and things that are being delivered just doesn't match up with them.
But Vernon would argue that his crowdfunding drone was a success, even though it didn't meet all of the targets. He did ship to every single person that backed it, even if it wasn't the original thing. So
yeah, so there's real big rip-offs, like it didn't happen, everybody lost their money, and then there's other things where here's the video we presented, here's what you get, everybody got it, not everybody was happy with it. And there's been there's plenty of that where you find that the campaign ran successfully, it got delivered, and there's things like these things I'd never really heard of. One called the Air Dog, one called the Hexo Plus.
That one worked, didn't it? The Air Dog, because I watched that and I was actually gonna do that one because it looked really good.
They've both got about 1.3 million. Ghost Drone's another one. I've actually seen a ghost drone in the wild. I was watching it in my field and it crashed into a tree. That's another 850k. So these are ones these are all sort of larger gimbal based quads, which, you know, sort of a poor man's DJI net now, as you'd say. And they got delivered. But if you look on any of the comments on any of the original Indiegogo pages or whatever, you'll still see all this negative stuff about I didn't get everything I was promised. It doesn't work like you said it would. So it's kind of like, yeah, it went through the stages and delivered, but it didn't deliver what it was ever promised, which is, it's kind of a bit of a win-win situation for anybody that runs the campaign, because financially they've got no problem. They've brought in the money. Now they might be doing their absolute best to get something out there, but as long as they sort of deliver it and carry on developing their product, they're sort of quids in because there's no risk for them. They've been prepaid already. It seems pretty unfair. Yeah,
and I guess Microdrone as well. It not only met its target, it went way over its target.
Yeah, Microdrone 3 got, I think it's just about one of the highest funded things ever on Indiegogo. That got $3.6 million.
So again, that would be my question: is like, what would I would love to know what the tax implications are on that, and and what happens to that when it goes over. Should it be allowed to go over, or should it just say no, this is the amount that I need. It's kind of like Dragon's Den online, isn't it, kind of thing? But on Dragon's Den, they never offer more money than than they ask for.
So
kind of thing.
because they offer perks as well. So if something says we need 100,000, they'll often say, okay, if we get 200,000, we're going to make it in different colors. If we get 300,000, we're going to make a free access gimbal. I know as far as Vernon goes on his Microdrone 4, he's working with this AI company to try and like track stuff with the camera, and that's one of his targets. If he gets this much money, he'll be able to invest it in getting more AI into the drone that will try and track faces and stuff like that. So it's kind of like
Ed's got a link on tax regarding crowdfunding, but he's not an admin for some reason. Because someone make him an admin, it won't let me do it. I don't think.
I've been switching over. Hang on. Ed, post it in the LDO chat.
Yeah, that's what he's not. He's not. He can't. I tell you what. I'll post it for.
No, it's in the chat. It's in the chat.
What's in the chat?
So can I crowdfund a girlfriend, or a new house?
I think that's. I think that might be illegal, Tony. There are certain places you can visit that you can crowdfund for a very small fee, actually.
Surely,
so I'm told.
I like some sparklers and stuff.
Surely, like,
I don't think that's going to help, Tony.
Going into like
will.
Funding something on Kickstarter and GoFundMe that you're aware of the risks and reality of trying to do something, and that's why you pledge what you can in order to in the hope of getting that product out there.
And I think as long as
improving the world,
as long as people do understand that, it's fine. If they wanna take that risk, it's on them. But I think often it's the case that people don't read the small print, because of course one of these things that sites don't go out of their way to say, and the top page is like, this is a real risk, you might lose all your money. That might put people off. So it's way down in the terms and conditions and the legal speak about what happens if you want your money back and what happens if the product doesn't deliver. That's well hidden, and you have to dig around to find it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to have a go at Vernon too much, because I actually feel the Microdrone 4 campaign is so much better than Microdrone 3 in terms that the footage he's put out there is actually real from his prototype.
And so I just want to mention,
it's fine.
I want to mention RDFBV donation. Thank you very much. And Aries, that was funny.
I just want to mention as well that there was a video released of Microdrone 4 comparing the Microdrone 4 to the Inspire footage, and the Inspire footage looked like it was the worst Inspire footage ever seen. And after talking to Vernon, I think he said like it was the video editor, and they've re-edited that video. And if you go and look at Extreme Flyers YouTube now, they have given the proper Inspire footage against Microdrone. But I don't personally think that the Inspire was a good choice to compare it against.
I think it's a bizarre thing. I don't think a comparison video is really particularly. I've talked to Vernon on this as well. And I said I think your video is fine. I just don't think it's particularly relevant or helpful, because if you want to show people what your Microdrone 4 can do, then show it what you can do. You don't need to compare it to like a $3,000 drone and say, look, in certain situations it can do almost the same as this. But
he did do that, though. He's amended that problem.
He has amended it, but I don't think the comparison footage is particularly helpful in any case, because you can always have people call up and say, well, if you're comparing, you're not comparing like for like, are you? It's like you're not comparing in range, you're not comparing the Axis gimbal or the tiltable and all the bits and pieces.
But then how can you want to give someone an idea of the product and what it can do, and if it hasn't been made yet, then
it has been made. So he is
Yeah,
showing
yeah.
what
Actually,
what
actually, that was
back then.
that was just the camera, because I don't, as far as I'm aware, I mean, Vernon can correct me in the comments, as far as I'm aware, the production of the model hasn't started. That was just the camera.
He's saying that is a prototype microdrone 4.
Well,
here's what I don't get though, and if Vernon wants to come on and answer this, I'd be really happy. So microdrone 3 got $3.6 million. It delivered a whole bunch of these drones. You can buy them in Curry's, or is it Curry's now? Dixon's, Curry's, whatever it is. You can buy them on the high street. He was still selling them quite successfully at the drone show. So if you've got a business that is getting a series of drones through, and you presume he has to make a profit on each one because that's what business has to do, I don't understand why he then needs to crowdfund for his next model. Why didn't he just say, I've developed this new one, it's microdrone 4, here are retail establishments, you'll want to take this because it's the next big thing, and sell it online? Why go through the crowdfunding process? And I can only suggest it's like, I don't want to take any financial risk at all. I want to try and get my money in first, which is that the right way to do it? Or is the right way, like DJI don't crowdfund? I mean, different company, of course, they're not crowdfunding. They're constantly developing stuff and putting out new models and saying, just buy this one now, throw your old one away.
Yeah, I think you're right. Perhaps it is protecting, and maybe even, you know, it's a completely separate entity. I hate to keep referring to Dragon's Den, but you see these people that get deals done on Dragon's Den, and when they say, what profit did you make last year, they say, like, you know, oh, our profit was, you know, £500,000, and it makes you think, well, why have you come on here then? Why don't you use that money to but that you know, they're trying to, I guess, like you say, eliminate risk of the success of a previous product. So I think that is probably what it is. I don't know the answer. I'm just talking nonsense because I have no experience of crowdfunding.
That's my interpretation. It's one thing for a startup company to say, we've got an idea, we think we can make it. If you give us this much money, we'll give it our best try. But if an established company comes along and says, actually, we're thinking of doing this, but we don't want to take the financial risk ourselves, could you bankroll us and we'll see what we can do? It seems less what the platform was for, I tend to think.
Yeah, I think though what I like about this Microdrone 4 is that it is definitely doing something different in terms of the gimbal. So the reason why so I think the cheapest copter out there that's got like stabilized footage, I mean, I could be wrong, and is half decent, is the Xiaomi Fimi A3, which is $300, which is very cheap. Does 1080p. It's got GPS. But the reason why they're so expensive is that the gimbal uses brushless motors, which means that it needs to have a ESC, which makes it expensive. And what they're saying they've done with Microdrone 4 is they found a way to use brushed motors with a gimbal to get the same results. So regardless to, you know, whether people are against this and whether, you know, they whatever opinion they have on extreme flyers, from a technical perspective, I'm really interested to see how that is going to work. And you know, and potentially we could this could be an advancement to the hobby. So all of the crowdfunding, all of the negativity of all of this aside, I'm really looking forward to see how that gimbal performs. I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to get one and trick it out and show that maybe it's not as good, but I hope that it is as good, because it means that it's cheaper.
I hope so too, because we've all flown those little sort of, you know, the Ishin sub 100 GPS type drones that don't have any stabilized footage, and they're awful and horrible.
Yeah, shaky and horrible.
So he's, you know, and Vernon protected this very carefully. He refused to show anything about it because he knows it's going to get copied. And yeah, he's using brush motors for his main thing and a brush motor in the gimbal, and that makes everything very cheap to produce. But previously, anything on a brush motor on a gimbal has been really jerky, and we can see from the footage that he seems to have got some really good success from it. So, yeah, I think
you can doctor footage though to make it look like that. I'm not saying that Vernon has done that. All I'm saying is,
where's the NDLC mute button?
God damn it! I'm going to stick my fist in your mouth sooner or later.
I'm trying to be balanced here. Yeah. I think, you know, as a reviewer, I try and look for the good and
on your own channel.
Yeah, but you might get accused of being biased towards crowdfunding, and you have to have a balance. You know, you have to think. You know. We'll see when things start to roll out what the actual deal is.
Because Jack has actually supported a crowdfunding thing.
Yeah,
they're not.
I mean, do you know what the case is that, you know, like to crowdfund is that he probably, you know, had enough money to release that, but you're crowdfunding the R&D for the brushless gimbal, and that's what the crowdfunding was. That might be the case. That's just the speculation. But yeah, I'm a real fan of a podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave, and
that's Steve Dave is Kevin Smith's offshoot couple, isn't it? Steve Dave, am I way off?
They're what?
Perhaps you don't know this.
Steve Dave was a character in one of his clerks or something. Because I remember, thinking, get him, Steve Dave.
Yeah,
I mean, kick his ass.
Is that completely just unrelated?
No, that's it. Yeah, and they done something called like a claymation DVD, and I backed that, and you know, someone was making this DVD out of clay, and it was all stop frame animation. It looked really good, and I donated to those, and it took like another year on top, but I finally did get the DVD, and when I did get it, it didn't work. And then I had to contact Merch Table, and they sent me another one. But yeah, that's the only.
Did it work?
Yeah, like that was it. It worked. It came through. There was like other perks of stretch goals, and you know, they were all met. And I've got a buddy who I used to podcast with, and he started a Kickstarter for a card game that he's working on at the moment. So he got funded and a few stretch goals, and he's and one of the biggest, like, chatting to him and like being behind the magic curtain as to
that's been a long time.
Yeah, he found one thing he didn't take into account was the time for managing and talking to people who actually had backed him. So that was has been a bit of a big time vortex, and he's been really you know, like he's been getting hassle off one person, but he's been working hard on it, and I think that's you know, like he wouldn't have been able to do it without the funding. So, you know, I think it's kind of like a little bit like the hive mind, and I think you have got to take it with a pinch or a fistful of salt, like.
You've got to know that when you go, if you are into this, that there is an element of risk.
Yeah, you know, and it's like everything.
Just interrupting for a Ginger FPV. He said he wanted a sparker. There you go, mate. Sorry to interrupt the flow, but we gotta do it when the people donate. Thanks, Ginger FPV.
Ginger FPV. Is that you, Pete?
Is that Pete?
It might be my friend Pete. Put in the comments I think it's Pete.
Well, he wanted a sparkler, he got one. I do not have an endless supply. I've got...
Well, someone made a Tell Him Steve Dave reference.
I've got a couple of packs. I've still got some big cake fountains here.
Yeah.
If anybody wonders what we spend the money on, it's sparklers.
Yeah.
I am running low, but we have got some big sparklers. If you want to, we'll lower the price tonight. If anyone wants a big one, we'll do it for 10 quid.
Yeah, that's my mate.
20.
That's my mate Pete. Ginger FPV.
Hello, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete doesn't mind telling me the story, and I put the story on my channel.
What happened to the Lily drone? 2 seconds. Sorry, before.
It's okay. It's fine.
I think there's a class action lawsuit going on about it. I had it in my list of things somewhere. I kind of disregarded it because it wasn't a proper crowdfunding, but they raised. They call it seed funding, $1 million in seed funding, and then they got 60,000 pre-orders for it, and then it closed after getting something like $14 million altogether.
Oh,
they went into bankruptcy, and they're getting I think there's a class action lawsuit trying to do something, but it sounds like, you know, if they've shut up shop there, it's very hard to get any money from them. It's just a question if it comes back. That coup drone was another one that apparently was going to be the most amazing thing, and that apparently shipped. Not many people were happy with it, and then it reappeared as this thing called the Eye drone, which like GearBest and Bang could sell, which I got sent one, which is all right, but it wasn't what it said it would originally do. This is the worry when things keep reappearing, and there's a tendency for these things. It's always like the little micro drones, and they always have videos of like, oh, it's always palm size, isn't it? I'm just gonna send this up and go for a ride on my bike, and it's gonna follow me somehow in 3-axis stabilized gimbal motion, despite it being like, you know, an 80mm drone with brush motors, which is gonna do this in any sort of wind and fly for about, you know, 6 minutes before dropping out of the sky like a brick. That these things can. I mean, we would say, I think anybody that's you know flown any sort of quads before would take one look and say, yeah, right. Of course, the general public looks at it, and perhaps there's a little bit of excitement about backing these things. Like, you know, I'm backing something. I'm giving them my money. I've got faith in them. There's a little bit of a gamble aspect going in there. That's until people don't get their stuff or it doesn't work out like it said it would. Yeah,
it's like the realm of, you know, reality. Like, you know, because we've had experience with that, you know, with quads, you got like a level of expectance, but you know, there's always the possibility that, you know, like someone does, you know, exceed our expectations. But you know, it's and then it's really unfair on, like, you know, the general public that, you know, sort of don't know what to expect. You know? Yeah,
but that's I think as long as they are made aware of the risks of crowdfunding, they only have themselves to blame, right?
Yeah, I mean that is the job of Kickstarter, though, isn't it? Really.
Well, I think they should do a better job with these videos, these aspirational ones. Like Microdrone 3 got a lot of money based on the video, which didn't have any relation to the actual drone that was brought out. Microdrone 4 fixes that, and it was the same as all these other ones, the Xano and such. It was all faked or simulated footage, but it wasn't made clear enough that it was. If Kickstarter had some checks and balances and sort of made them put on the video. You know, you've all seen it on game adverts on TV where it says "not game footage,"
not actual footage.
The same as all these things. When you see it flying, it says "not simulated footage" or "not real footage." Just to say this is aspirational. This is what we want from it, but we this is not what we've got yet. And so,
at the end of it, you might get absolutely nothing, which is in the case of Xano. You know, that needs to be said, I think.
Romer's King says he's thinking of doing a crowdfunding to get Jack's haircut. I'll be in for that.
Why don't Speak to my hairdresser, Chloe.
We can Jack holds his hair out. We fly little quads at it.
We could just set fire to the bastard.
Yeah.
No, you do that, I will have you arrested for assault.
Jack's
hair
comes out real nice when he's had it cut. It's all straightened.
Yeah, they love doing that.
He's a
it looks hilarious when it's straightened. It's like Jack's twin sister, who's
Janet.
a girl. Yeah.
Janet, I love Janet.
I know.
Janet rings me late night sometimes. Oh, Janet, is that you?
I've filed it under N for naughty.
Janet definitely leaves voicemails on my phone that are usually whispers about cats' feet.
Your ex-girlfriend reference. Maybe.
Wow, that's crowdfunding. So what has everybody been doing? Has anybody managed to go flying? Obviously not Tony, because he's been on his mountain bike all day.
Yeah, I've just been biking. I haven't gone out yet. I will soon. I need to go out and fly. I am missing it, but
Andy RC, didn't you have something you were going to bring up, or was it covered?
Well, I wasn't here last week.
Yes, we missed you
because I was on like a really weird.
You were asleep, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was on a really strange time schedule. So I was getting up at like 5 in the morning because that was the only time that the weather wasn't crazy. This all spans from actually me falling out of a tree from a great height. Actually,
explain the tree
thing. Is that
thing.
not on video?
You mentioned it in Facebook and said something like, "I've just fallen out of a tree," and I thought it was like northern slang for like saying, you know, I've had some chips or something or whatever.
Oh, a bit like how drama is now called,
or tin tin tin. So, what was the circumstance of you falling out of a tree?
All right, so like we had so we're now currently in the we're now currently in the Chinese festival, the Spring Festival.
Is it Year of the Pig?
Year of the Pig. Yeah. And before that, I was getting chased for like reviews, and there was one particular day where we had crazy winds, like 50-mile-per-hour winds.
We're getting that tomorrow, apparently.
It's pretty windy today.
Yeah, it's not nice, but I thought so somebody sent me a 6S quadcopter, and I thought 6S will punch through 50-mile-per-hour winds, no problems. You know, I've flown in pretty hefty winds and had no problem. And this thing, I flew it around for a little bit, and but no matter how much throttle I gave it, the wind just blew it into the top of a tree, and the battery disconnected. So I spent around, I think it was probably about 2 hours, and I found I had the DVR going on my goggles, but the battery disconnected when it hit a tree, and of course, with the wind being 50-mile-per-hour, you know, it was I think it was about 100 foot away from where the DVR footage last showed it, and it was at the top of a tree. And believe it or not, in the winter, a quadcopter at the top of the tree with no lights or anything, it blends into branches quite nicely. It looks a bit like a tree. So after about 2 hours, I found the battery on the ground, and I thought, oh, it can't be much further away from this. And of course, I couldn't have been further from the truth at that point. And one thing I did notice is the battery had like it was damaged beyond repair, so it hit like a tree trunk pretty bad.
You murder all your batteries. The 6Ss are a bit more expensive to murder, aren't they?
Oh my, yeah. So it wasn't a good day, because actually it was a Tattoo 6S battery. They're about 30 quid. The 4S equivalent's 27 quid. So the price has come down now. because 6S is more popular. That's just how it is. I still lost 30 quid though. But the problem was as well that I had this was the first flight, and because we're at a time where, I mean, it's getting better now, but the light disappears very quickly. So a lot of people won't know this, but most of the reviews that I do, the flight is done before the talkie bit. So I got a lost drone in a tree before I got any footage or any information whatsoever. I had to find this drone. Anyways, after about 3 hours, I spotted it swinging at the top of this tree. About 100 feet away from where I found the battery on the ground. And yeah, oh man, yeah, it was a stressful day.
Did you climb it, and did someone film you?
No, nobody filmed me because nobody filmed me.
So what was the falling out of the tree? What was that bit? Did you go all the way up to get it, and then presumably you didn't fall from the top because you'd be dead right now?
Well, it was kind of like, you know, when people fall out of trees in cartoons.
It was like that.
It was well. What happened?
What happened was
It took a minute to realize he was falling.
What happened was that's a Jethro. Another. Have I told this story already? I'm getting deja vu. Yeah, I probably. Yeah, but anyway.
No, carry on.
No, hurry up and tell it, though.
Did you get up the tree, or did you fell down?
It was right at the top of a tree that was very thin, and I managed to get it. But on the way down, I fell, and it's one of those trees that, you know. Well, most trees have branches. So as
just come up with not like those ones.
So as I fell, like, it was like in stages. So it was like, hit the branch, hit the next branch, hit the next branch, land on the floor.
Ugly tree.
Land on the floor. I mean, you've seen how tall the trees are. It was a hell of a height, and I was, the first thing I was like, is anything broken?
What, you looked at your quad or yourself?
No, there was nothing broken on the quad apart from the battery.
Special branch, genius, the young ones.
So, anyways, all I ended up was lots of cuts and bruises, and but nothing broken, luckily.
Well, that's good.
That happened. Yeah, but if it's windy, if it's 50 mile per hour winds, even 6S can't cope with it on full throttle to try and get away from the trees. So that happened. What else, Jack? There was something else that happened. Oh yeah,
your bin fiasco.
Yeah. So I was just like walking around the house, and my mum said to me, she said, Andrew, because they call me Andrew.
Who the hell is Andrew?
She said, Andrew, why is there a picture of the dog poo bin on one of your videos?
Does your penis shrivel or your balls just tighten?
Somewhere into his body up here.
And I had to explain that. I explained that. Well, actually, the bin, with it being really the only sort of item in the field that I fly, has become a bit of a thing. And some people, I won't name them, but I've got video evidence. You know, use it as a shrine sometimes.
Regard it as quite the pilgrimage.
And somebody made a image. They actually spent time on this and made an icon of the bin, and it was the model was called the trash can. So I thought, well, you know, I could put the two together, and to explain that to my mother, and I thought that was quite amusing. And and in a couple of days' time, I'm going to show the video of Jack bowing down to the bin. So
I want to see that.
It's on one of the vlogs that you did, Tone, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is on there.
Yeah.
I should point out, I was trying to fly the trash can today outside in 20-mile-an-hour winds, and I can suggest that you don't really want a Whoop-style 2S quad for 20-mile-an-hour winds because they don't do very well against it. It's like trying to fly a sail backwards.
Especially the trash can with it having these new struts underneath. They almost act like a pocket of air. I found that when you come down on the throttle, the thing literally floats down like a plane. And I just think it's the design of the struts that causes drag with the props spinning. And I
just had the weirdest thought in the world. I just thought, what would happen if Andy RC had fell out the tree, broke his neck, and died? And then I was just imagining like the bin at night with like jars and candles and flowers, you know, like in memory of Andy RC. So you do realise when you die, that dog shit bin will become some sort of shrine to you. That's your legacy, mate.
That bin's there because of my nan. I think I've told that story before, though.
You said auntie.
Yeah, you told that one.
I didn't say auntie. It was my nan.
She complained about getting hurt on the bench or something, didn't she? So they put a dog poop in there instead.
There was a bench that had a big metal thing poking out of it, and she sat on it, and it went through her leg. And she claimed through the council they removed the bench and put something, in my opinion, way better.
Wait, and you'll say you're northern.
Yeah, I was watching funny enough, I was watching another YouTube channel called Yogscast Live.
Yeah.
And
related to
there was like this really pretty girl with like purple hair, and she was northern, and she said that she, instead of having breast milk, her mother fed her pies when she was little. Is that actually a northern thing?
I thought it was gravy rather than milk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was breastfed as far as I recall.
Can you do some research?
I mean, as far as
Can you make your relationship any weirder with your mum?
I definitely remember sucking something.
I remember that bit when I was sucking in your nipple. That was a laugh, wasn't it?
Yeah, the offending video is in here.
That was fucking funny.
Did he force his lucky, Andy? I cracked a rib. Well, yeah, I was lucky. That must have hurt a lot. I kind of knew that that I was okay because I wasn't like, you know, I've been told if something's broken, like it is like just you will know about it kind of thing. Yeah, from what I recall, that was a good one, wasn't it?
What is your favourite pie?
It used to be meat and potato, but I don't go for meat these days.
Good lad.
Yeah, I try and avoid it because my tummy works better when I don't have meat, and I don't really like it. I've never really liked meat. I've never been a big meat eater, anyways.
More for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I literally eat it just to annoy Tony now. I could have quite easily become vegan. For my health reasons, and I'd get to live longer. So there's two bonuses: A, I'll die quicker.
I'll stay eating
and get away from him, and B, it annoys him.
Loads of people are becoming vegan. Rachel Riley became vegan.
I think he always has been vegan. Look at her; she's got like vegan superpowers of beautiness.
She is like I watch 8 out of 10 cats. 8 out of 10 cats does countdown every week, just to see
what she's wearing.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason she's on there, isn't it?
And then every time she comes on, I just under my breath, just go, wow. Yeah. But she's married, I think, to some Russian, so you know.
He's not racist, really. That was a joke.
Like it was ever going to be a thing. Like if she wasn't married, that she would go for, you know, somebody who.
If anyone meets her out in the wild, please load up a picture of Andy RC, show it to her, and be like, "Any good? Give us a scale of 1 to 8."
Well, I've got a way in though, because I once met Carol Vorderman, you see, and she was her replacement. So you know, I've got we've got. Although I believe that Rachel, what are we talking about?
It's a way in. Is it going to be like, hey Rachel, here's a way of making Carol Vorderman jealous?
No, do you know on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, they always make fun of Carol Vorderman because Rachel Riley's never actually met Carol Vorderman. There's like a thing there that I think like she demanded more money or something like that, and then Rachel got replaced. But I did meet Carol Vorderman, and
Carol got replaced with Rachel. Yeah. Okay.
And I got Carol Vorderman's autograph, and I was shaking when I gave her the paper because I was so nervous to meet, because I think that was my first celebrity that I'd ever met.
She's like, you were probably like, you can add up. I don't know anyone who can do that. You know how many teeth are in my mouth.
Yeah, but I was also I think I was 16. So you know, she was a little bit younger herself.
Oh man, she was lovely back in the day.
Yeah, like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Now it's hit a cliff, I would say.
No.
They make fun about her on 8 out of 10 Cats though, about her being in like an old people's home watching it. And anyways,
this show is
with getting an HD TV. My 4K TV now, you look at people in 4K and you're like, shit, they have really aged badly. Between nice standard definition where they're all a bit fuzzy around the edges and it kind of
beautiful
all over the blemishes, you put them into 4K and it's like, no, this is wrong.
That's the only reason I do this show, because it comes out in about 240p for me, and I've got a better camera, but I choose not to use it because it will show my age.
You're using the Vaseline filter. It's working. Yeah. You're looking smooth.
Yeah, exactly. That's my.
Andy RC would make me shake if he gave me his autograph.
But for different reasons. Probably. I've been called all sorts of things this last week. Harsh.
You can meet Andy RC if you all turn up.
Mini air show.
Radiators leaking. If you can turn up at the mini air show in May, the whatever date it is, someone say it. 11th,
6th, I think.
I don't even know.
Listeners, come get your shirt, you gobshite.
What? Oh, thank you. Thanks for the Let's Drone Out hoodie, by the way.
You got your beanie, have you?
It works brilliant. And I was a little bit unsure at first because you have to fold it over, don't you? But that's even better because it keeps your ears even warmer when you double it up.
It's a good beanie, Nat.
Yeah. So
I'm going to give away a beanie when we hit 1,500 subscribers.
Andrew / Frank's been busy with work and he's a bit burnt out at the moment. So if you're wondering where Andrew / Frank is and why we are completely out of control,
that's why we're not organised.
Yeah.
Descended into chaos.
It's my fault. I should have done it, but I will happily go through it and make a tutorial.
Thank you. The mini air show is the 11th to 12th of May. Cheers, Andrew Haku.
Hey, I got another story, or are we going over time?
Well, we were a little bit late. Tell your story quickly.
Hang on. What is the time for a quick Andy story? I'm guessing it's about 15 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah.
As opposed to the regular shaggy dog.
Well, my mate.
If you can keep it under 5 minutes, I'll give you a biscuit.
It'll be under 5 minutes, okay? Right. So my mate Pete, who donated, he witnessed this.
Cheers, Ginger, FBD.
Yeah, actually, the guy's such a talented pilot. he's unbelievable. Like I'm so jealous of like how well he flies. Yeah, so he's been in like a lot of my freestyle videos and stuff. Anyways, at the weekend we went to a spot, and there's lots of dog walkers and stuff, and quite a lot of people came up actually and were intrigued. But this lady came up to us, and she said something in the region of, "Oh, it's those things that were flying over Gatwick." That was the first thing. Like she must have been about 65 and walking her dog, and that's the first thing she said. And we were all like, "Oh man,
that's the BBC for you. I told you, stop paying your bloody license."
Did you tell him you'd literally just flown there with them and were flying back? This is your return leg.
No, I said, what you're confusing drones for what these are, quadcopters, which we've all built ourselves, and you know, we're all got insurance, and we all do it properly. And what you are seeing on the news is people who can walk into a shop, buy a drone with that, you know, and fly it over Gatwick, even though it didn't happen anyways.
You should have told her it was
no proof.
It was 3 cranes, weren't it?
It didn't really matter as far as she was concerned. It happened.
You're a terrorist.
So we advised her, and she was lovely. She was absolutely lovely. She said, "Oh, I'll think twice the next time I see something like this on the news." And so yeah, positive thing came out of it. Isn't that right, Pete? He was there. In fact, he helped me explain the difference between what we were doing and what these idiots, hooligans, reckless people
didn't do. Because they were police drones.
So that's something else that happened. Oh, he also had a death roll. We were flying over a frozen.
Oh, here we go.
We were flying over a frozen lake. I'm going to edit that video together. He sent me the footage. It's like the luckiest death roll in the world, flying over this river. And just as he's on the cusp of the edge of the river, he gets a death roll. And yeah, so very, very lucky. Otherwise, that would have been a goner. And it got a HD camera and on and everything. So yeah, that happened that day.
All right, guys, let's call it there. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. You've been joined by Andy RC.
Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. Cheers. Good night.
My little Tony.
Bonjour. I love you, Mikey Dread.
Everyone's favourite curry kitten.
Goodbye.
And I've been Jack, Brighton Till I Fly. Good night, everyone. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, we're going to head off now and maybe record a bonus podcast that we do for our patrons every month. Please like, subscribe, share this. Give some love to Vernon.
I could do with some love.
And Mikey Dread, Edward Bruce with the random links, Win, Tony King, 50RC, Gigawatts, MC Creation, everyone in the chat, thank you very much for tuning in. Sorry about the link today. And good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.